Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice and it's by user Throwaway Girl Cop Dad. My 34 male wife, 31 female, is having a meltdown over our daughter's personality and I don't know what to do. What should I do? I'm a 34-year-old guy and I have a 16-year-old stepdaughter. My wife is 31. In high school, my wife was a popular girl stereotype. Pink, blonde, chunky highlights in her brown hair. This was the mid-late 2000s. She was on the cheerleading team, had lots of friends and boyfriends, and was well known and liked. She was basically the living embodiment of the picture-perfect girl from those cheesy 2000 high school movies. And then she got pregnant. When she was 15, she had her daughter. She doesn't know who the father is, and any potential fathers from the girl up and left way back when. Her daughter is recently 16. I never wanted kids. I found them annoying. But I fell in love with my wife and got married when she was 20 and I was 23 after dating for 2 years. We hit it off and I married her and decided to suck it up around the kid. I never planned to absolutely love being a dad to her specifically. Kids still annoy me, but my daughter, stepdaughter technically, was different. She was quiet, nerdy, even at a young age. I married her mother when she was 5 and we clicked right away. We went on daddy-daughter dates every weekend. I played dolls with her, let her paint my nails and do makeup on me. I drove her to and from school in my cop car. We even did daddy-daughter duo costumes for Halloween. Over the past 2 years, she's developed a darker dress style. I don't know what the proper subculture of her outfits are, but according to her, she's dressing like a horror game protagonist and a Monster High character. Purple is her main color that she incorporates into this specific aesthetic blend, as she calls it. I don't get it, but maybe that's because I'm a man in my 30s. I don't know. She likes ghosts, tarot cards, vampires, zombies, aliens, creepy Victorian dolls. I don't get it, but also I don't care because if it makes her happy, so what? She's also an introvert and prefers to play games on her computer or read fantasy occult novels rather than hang out with other teens her age. She has friends, so I'm not worried about her being completely withdrawn. I'm just glad I don't have to drive her around since she only has a learner's permit currently. My wife hates this. My wife always wanted a girly girl. She wanted pinks and pastels and flowers and all that. She wants our daughter to get a boyfriend, be more social, be a cheerleader like she was, which in itself is valid. I get it. I'm sure mostly every parent has preferences for what they want their kid to turn out like. And some disappointment when they stray from that fantasy is valid. Some. My wife will constantly take and hide my daughter's darker room decor. She constantly gets pastel dresses for our daughter, tells her to wipe off her dark eye makeup, tries to set her up on dates with jock types from my daughter's school and convince her to sign up for both school and summer activities like cheerleading or volleyball. I could have put up with all of that. I really could have. But a few weeks ago, I woke up to my wife finally hitting her breaking point. I woke up in the middle of the night to my wife screaming and having what I can confidently describe as a borderline meltdown. She was crying and saying all she ever wanted was a normal daughter who likes pink and is a cheerleader and has a boyfriend and will give her grandkids. I had to drag her out the hallway after 30 minutes of this. I kept thinking it would stop, but it kept going on and on. My daughter was just staring at this whole thing in the doorway of her room. What caused this meltdown from my wife? My daughter dyed purple over the blonde streaks or highlights my wife had forced her to get in her hair, which wasn't even breaking a house rule, as my wife and I both told her she can do whatever she wants with her hair as long as she doesn't stain too many towels. It's been weeks and my daughter won't talk to her mom. My wife is still up with her antics, but now it's in overdrive. Every day she brings home some type of trendy clothing in pink or pastel and tries to give it to my daughter. My daughter is getting fed up and stays in her room all day and has confessed to me that she can't wait for school to start back up in a few weeks so she can get out of the house and be with her friends again. I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I don't want to side with anyone in this situation. I understand my wife wants a daughter who she can relate to, and my daughter wants a mom who understands her. I don't know what I can or should do. I need help. I need advice. Well, OP, the first thing I would say to you is that you can't stay neutral in this situation. I know you don't want to side with anyone, but you have to. And I would say it's your daughter. It's always your kids. Your wife is clearly going through something and she needs help. If she had a meltdown this big over what your daughter decides to choose, your daughter is still finding out who she is. This might not even be her final version. It's like a Pokemon, I think. It sounds to me like your wife wants a mini-me version of her, or she wants to live through your daughter. Your wife was 15 when her life changed and she had a kid. Your daughter is 16 right now, so from here on out, your wife would get to live through your daughter what she didn't get to experience because she had a kid. You need to talk to your wife. She needs to get some help or else she's gonna destroy her relationship with her daughter. You mentioned your wife wanted to have grandkids. Well, she might get them, but she may not be able to have a relationship with them if her daughter doesn't want to be in her life. And what advice do you have for OP? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Preparation Scared says, you need to get a professional involved, you and your wife together, or just you if she refuses. She is doing real harm to your daughter and you have let it go on much too long. Your wife doesn't get to decide who her daughter should be and she sounds deeply disturbed. True Crime Mama says, your wife needs serious medical intervention and you need to take your daughter's side. I'm a more alternative mom. Dark clothes, piercings, tattoos, etc. with a girly little girl. Think unicorns, rainbows, glitter, the whole 9 yards. I couldn't love my daughter more. She's my favorite person. She also knows what she likes and is free to express herself however she pleases. I can still remember my parents arguing about me when I was a teenager and hearing, "Why can't she just be normal? Why is she such a freak?" It stuck with me for 20 years. Don't traumatize your child the same way. And InkTech says, my mom wanted me to be a version of her when I was a teenager too. She lost it on me and my father didn't protect me either. He defended my mom. 30 years later, I have a strained relationship with them both. Protect your kid and go tell your wife to get help with her trauma. And OP responds, the comments have really slapped some sense into me. I'll admit, I didn't think any of this was that deep. I came on here mostly as a way to vent and get some advice, but now it feels like I've been slapped in the face with reality. I had no idea just how harmful my wife was being to my daughter. I'm ashamed to admit it now, but I really just chalked it up to mother-daughter bickering like all teenagers do. I know I had some pretty nasty fights with my parents as a 16-year-old. I want to get both of them help. I love my wife and I love my daughter. Additional information from OP's comments. My wife was a junior when she got pregnant and had the baby a few months before turning 16. She never went back to high school even after having the baby. She was lucky and already had most of her credits finished anyways from taking advanced classes and ended up finishing high school online. My wife also stressed to our daughter to not have sex until she felt ready. She always said she would help our daughter get on birth control and have any type of protection she wanted. She's always been clear about how she wanted our daughter to be safe and responsible with whoever she ended up getting with. Still, I never understood setting our daughter up with jocks. My daughter told me about her type before while we were playfully teasing each other, and she said she likes nerdy guys. She also said that while the jock guys are nice to her on dates, she just isn't attracted to them. My biggest problem is that I don't want to alienate the two from one another. I want them to have the same close relationship they used to. I don't want to feel like I'm stuck between having to choose. I'm on my daughter's side, but I don't like feeling like I'm picking sides, if that makes sense. I know I have to. I understand now that I can love my wife while also sticking up for my daughter and be a mediator and try and get both of them help and repair their relationship. So the community told OP to back his daughter up, and that's what he's going to do. So let's check out the update to see how this story ends. It's been about a week since I last posted about how my wife was having a meltdown over how my daughter chose to dress. 2 nights after I posted, I sat my wife down and very bluntly asked her what exactly the problem was. She kept saying she just wanted a daughter who was similar to her. But after I kept asking, she broke down and admitted the real reason why she was having her meltdowns. My wife feels that her daughter is the only way for her to have more family in the future. She's estranged from her siblings, her parents don't speak much to her, and all of her friends from high school stopped talking to her after her pregnancy. She wants a family back, and she's hoping that her daughter will marry a nice boy and give her grandkids so she can have a family again. This confuses me because my daughter has said she wants kids in the future. We've spoken about this, and she has mentioned how she wants a good job so her and her kids can be rich. I know she's 16 and that she can still change her mind, but as of now she seems pretty sure of having kids in her adult years. Anyway, my wife said she never brought up having more kids with me because she figured I'd be against the idea. I don't know how I feel about having more kids with my wife, but it certainly won't happen now. So my wife is in therapy to try and get her to realize that she can't just view my daughter as a way to create family. She's doing well so far, but it's too soon to really tell. Now, I'm not opposed to having kids. I originally didn't want kids, but I love being a dad to my daughter, and I know now that if more kids were to happen, I'd also love being a dad to them. I just don't think it's a good idea to have kids now, given that my wife is working on herself in therapy, and we still have time to have kids. My mom had me at 37. My daughter is also in therapy. She's been in therapy since she was a kid for bullying issues, but now her therapist is trying to focus on the meltdown situation with her. My daughter actually seems relatively unaffected by this whole situation, other than a little annoyed, so I don't know if that's good or not. I took her to Hot Topic for some back-to-school accessories and then took her out to eat, just the 2 of us. She's still excited to go back to school. She misses her friends and her clubs. My wife and daughter have started talking normally again. They had a long talk, which I was present for, where my wife apologized for being so pushy and extreme with her wishes. My daughter was well receptive to this talk and seems to be back to her normal self. I am keeping an eye on both of them to be sure. My wife is doing her best to understand my daughter's interests. Last I know, the 2 were watching some slasher TV show on Hulu as a way to bond, and it appears to be working. There isn't any bad blood between the 2. I know things are soon and that things can change, but so far everything appears to be smoothing over pretty well. Thank you for all the advice, harsh and gentle, that I reviewed through my original post. It definitely slapped me in the face as to what could happen if I didn't get both of them help and make them talk it out. Well, OP, it looks like a promising and positive update. Your wife is doing her best to understand her daughter and she's getting help for it, and your daughter is getting help as well. And as you say, even though things are too soon to tell which way it's going, it seems like it's going in the right direction, and hopefully that continues. So on that note, here's wishing you the best in the future for you and your family, OP. Thanks so much for sharing it. Take care. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit entitled Parents, and it's by user Ordinary Highlight 74. Father-in-law's girlfriend demands my debit card. So, a while back, my father-in-law's truck broke down and he started giving my husband all his cards so we could shop for him and deliver it to him. Eventually, father-in-law got a new girlfriend. She moved in with him immediately. She was homeless at the time. Everything had been fine until his girlfriend relapsed into alcoholism, at which point my kids and I stopped going over there. Anyway, recently my father-in-law got a new truck, and before we had the chance to take his cards back or meet up with him to give them back, his girlfriend started texting us, harassing us, saying she's going to come pick up our debit card because we had theirs for so long, and if we expect them to trust us with theirs, then we should trust them too. Which, no, that's not how it works. After a text message fight, my husband said he would only talk to his dad and not her anymore, and she imploded, demanding we give her our card. We blocked the number. So she texted us from father-in-law's phone to continue the fight, telling us she will come get our card and go shopping with it, saying she doesn't need our permission. If they are struggling and had asked politely, I'd be helping right now, but I'm not. My family is crazy. Wow, OP, I think this is beyond crazy, and she's your father-in-law's girlfriend that just moved in. She's not family. The entitlement on this woman. You guys had our card, not father-in-law's card, our card for too long, so now I get to have yours for as long as I want. What the hell, man? That's just crazy. I think you and your husband need to talk to your father-in-law as soon as possible, or she's gonna wreck the family. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. No Proposal 7628 says, why isn't she asking for father-in-law's cards back if you still have them? Is father-in-law having you hold them so she can't buy booze on his dime? You having father-in-law's cards doesn't give her any right to your debit card in any way, shape, or form. If she thinks she can just take the card and doesn't need your permission, she's delusional and drunk. If she shows up, don't open your doors to her. If she causes a fuss, call the cops. She may be drunk driving after all. And OP responds, I honestly don't know why she didn't want the cards back. Could be there's no money in it right now. We offered to leave it outside under a rock and let her come by and get it while we were at work, but she never showed up, so we figured F it. She just wanted to fight instead. We finally had time to drop them all off last night, and we're hoping this is the end of it. T33 Jumps says, hopefully father-in-law gets his wake-up call and cuts her out before she ruins his relationship with his family. And Dopey responds, she's already ruining it. He won't see my kids until she is gone. I tried to accept her, but she is just too dangerous of a person. She hasn't seen my kids in 3 months since she first relapsed. My kids will not be around that. And OK Airline 9031 says, reminder that it isn't their debit card, it's his debit card, and she had no legal claim to anything in your family. Then do an intervention with father-in-law fast, cause clearly his gold-digging girlfriend plans to suck his bank accounts dry. And Opie responds, he is hardcore enabling her because she cooks and cleans for him, so he doesn't care what she does. Seems like he's even fine with the damage between him and his son. My husband once asked him what his deal was with her, and his answer was, we're just having fun. Alright, so the community agrees that this is unhinged and entitled, and that OP should try to get her father-in-law away from it, but apparently the father-in-law is totally cool with this thing. So now let's move on to the update to see how the story ends. So, some events have unfolded this morning and people wanted updates. A little more background. My father-in-law owns a contracting business and my husband does some jobs with him from time to time. Today, he was scheduled to work with his dad. Father-in-law's girlfriend showed up with father-in-law. Father-in-law was coming to pick up my husband and carpool to work. She walked up to our door and knocked and tried to talk to us as if we hadn't gotten into a huge fight. We thought it was weird, but we were being cordial since she hadn't said anything crazy yet. Then she started up again about the cards. She was telling us they don't have food right now and they get food stamps on the 15th, and could we please buy some food for them? So instead of getting to go to work and make extra money today, my husband, being the angel he is, went and bought $120 worth of groceries and took it to his dad. My husband just got back home, seething. This is apparently what happened. He took the groceries in and set them on their table, to which father-in-law's girlfriend starts going through it all, acting like what they got isn't good enough. Saying things like, I don't usually get this brand. I wish you would have just taken me to the store. I won't eat most of this. My eye is twitching just typing this. As my husband was trying to leave, she mentions, well, I don't know why you didn't just give me your card so I can do the shopping myself. I'm not a kid. I don't need a guardian. My husband just walked out, got in his car and left. He got home and he was telling me about all of this when she started texting again. She's upset now because she thinks we're treating her like a shady person and a thief. My husband responded by calling his dad and saying, "I'm not acknowledging her anymore, and that's all we have to say about it." Radio silence since. Think this is the end? Well, OP, I'm pretty sure it's not the end, but hopefully it's the beginning of the end and your father-in-law gets his head out of his ass or wherever it is. Or else he's gonna have some lonely days just with his wino girlfriend. But for you guys, hopefully this is the end. So take care, OP, and thank you for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.